Hey everybody, Cinephile Mike, your friendly neighborhood cinephilist here, and this is episode 19 of Oscar Rewind 2024 edition, my bi-weekly series of videos where I revisit films that reflect the work of this past year's Oscar nominees and winners. My hope is that you will discover a new favorite, or maybe, find something old and revisit it that you haven't seen in a while. I'll be discussing the box office history for the film, its award season journey, and as always, my reviews are spoiler free. But before I jump into today's film, remember to check out my website, cinephilemike.com, where you can find exclusive content and reviews of all of this summer's new releases. Check them out. You won't be sorry. All right. So today for Rewind, I am discussing IFC Films' Requiem. Written by Bernd Lang and directed by Hans Christian Schmid, Requiem is a fictionalized take on real events that occurred in Germany in the 1970s. Released in 2006, the film had a very small box office take. Primarily, it was released in international markets and made a total of $504,137, adding an additional $9,600 when it had its small domestic release later that year, bringing it to a worldwide total of only $513,737. This information coming to you, of course, from Box Office Mojo. Now, review wise, from a consensus of 36 reviews, the film has an 86% critical rating on Rotten Tomatoes, with an audience score of 66% culled from over 2,500 reviews. So, 20% disparity between the critics and the audience. Well, let's get into it. Why is Requiem here? Well, I'm sure, as you've probably noticed from the poster, you see, it's a young Sandra Hüller. Save two short film appearances that she made prior to this one in a short and a segment in a feature length, this was her feature film debut in this historical thriller in the role of Michaela Klingler. Hüller, you will remember, was nominated for Best Actress this past year in the very taut Anatomy of a Fall, and also turned in a very intense performance in international feature winner The Zone of Interest. Now, while Requiem had no major awards run in the States, in Germany the film did fairly well. Especially Hüller, who was in her first role, was named Best Actress at the Berlin International Film Festival, the German Film Awards, and the German Film Critics Association Awards, as well as being nominated for Best European Actress at the European Film Awards. The film itself also had several nominations and wins at these award ceremonies and others. It won Best Film at the German Film Critics Association Awards and won an additional four German Film Awards, totaling 5 wins out of 10 nominations in total. In addition to Hüller, it was named Outstanding Feature Film, received Best Supporting Actress for Imogen Koge, who plays Michaela's mother Marianne, Best Costume Design, and Best Sound, with 5 additional nominations for Best Direction, Best Screenplay, Best Supporting Actor for Burghard Klaubner, playing Michaela's father Carl, Best Editing, and Best Production Design. So, what is Requiem about? It's about Michaela. She's right there on the poster. A young girl of 21, she's yearning to go to college, to go to university. She has epilepsy, and as a result of this, she had to miss her last year of high school and had to have this gap. And all she wants to do is go back to school. She begs and pleads with her parents. We discussed this. Let me go back to school. And although her mother is very much against this, her father does support her and assists her in going off to school to study at university, study pedagogy, become a teacher. She vows her new epilepsy medication will help her and she will be okay. She hasn't had an incident in a while. She'll be fine. Now, while at university, she is reunited with a former classmate, Hannah, played by Anna Blomier, and then she also begins to date a young man named Stefan, played by Nicholas Renke. It is through these relationships that Michaela begins to live her life outside of the strict Catholic upbringing that she has lived with while at home. Even when she returns home during the winter holiday, her family sees the changes in her. Nothing bad, it's just she's coming into her own. And while this delights her father and younger sister, her mother, not so much. Now, what Michaela hasn't been telling them, that Hannah and Stefan have learned, She has had continued to have a few epileptic issues while being away at school and doesn't want her mother to know for fear of being sent home. But is it just that? Eh, we have another layer. Michaela, while not wanting to abandon her faith, begins to believe that her spells of collapsing and the seizures are not just epilepsy, but something more. She believes that something is controlling her, not letting her pray, not letting her hold rosary beads, not letting her do the things she needs to do to live the good life she wants. She believes she may be possessed. I mean, she tries to plead with the priests at her church and at the school, and they're at first they're dismissive. We need proof. This just seems to be like an attention call from a young sick woman. Even Hannah and Stefan aren't sure what to make of it, but Michaela, she feels this and will eventually be brought home, and we will see that this is not a cry for help. And it will lead to the priests having to perform an exorcism. Now, this is a very interesting film, right? We've seen the exorcism films before. Sometimes very well done. Hello, William Friedkin. And other times not so well. Hello. Said films is sequel directed by David Gordon Green. One, a two-time Oscar winner. The other one, a two-time Razzie nominee. And we've had everything else in between. Requiem is more of a slow burn because Lang's screenplay keeps us wondering if, in fact, it's Michaela's epilepsy or is she possessed? The film is a very short, I mean, it's a slow burn, but it's short at 93 minutes. And, you almost wonder if there were more because the film kind of comes to a bit of an abrupt end that I don't want to spoil. And because many may not be familiar with the historical events behind it, it's a little slow burn to a rush. But what I need to say is where the film absolutely shines is when it gives its time to Huller as Michaela going on this journey. I mean, she proved to be one to watch in this award season, and we see where it's coming from. She's absolutely magnetic. You cannot take your eyes off her when she is on screen. In so many of these scenes, when she's by herself and just feeling the feelings that she goes through. And, in one breath, she can seem very small and quiet and almost pathetic. And then the next, she is letting out these guttural screams that you don't know what to do, and you will probably shift uncontrollably in your seats. The supporting players in the film give decent performances, but none can really hold the candle to what she's doing, in taking us on Michaela's journey. 90 minutes, I wouldn't have had a problem if I'd had a little bit more time to spend in Schmidt's world and seeing this story. Also, the film was made in the early mid 2000s, but its set time being set in the 1970s, this was a wonder to behold. Because it's rare when we get period pieces that look like they were shot in the period with which they are. We get stylistic flair and some things that are a little bit larger than life. But here, and oftentimes, it feels like this film was made in the 70s due to the grainy effects on the time and the simplicity of Bettina Marx's costumes, Christian M. Goldbeck's production design. All of these things work together. And again, the cinematography, the look of this very, almost like you're watching a film out of 1970s. Bogumil Godfrejo, I'm sure I pronounced that name wrong. Cinematography is wonderful, makes you feel like you're plunked down right in the middle of the 1970s, which only gives more urgency to the situation that Michaela is experiencing. Now, Requiem was an enjoyable entry into the exorcism genre. In some ways, because what we don't see or hear is sometimes more disturbing than having all these various vicious visuals thrown at you. Very easily, the film is a 4-star film for me, with a 5-star performance from Sandra Hüller. I truly feel that I'm going to need to do a retrospective of all of her films because she is just a wonder and a joy to watch. If you would like to watch Requiem, or maybe you've seen Requiem and you want to catch it again, I'm sure one of the reasons it came to the forefront recently is because of the recent Oscar attention she received. You can find it streaming exclusively on AMC Plus. So, there you have it. I hope everyone is enjoying Oscar Rewind. Is there a film you're hoping I'm going to get to? Let me know in the comments. You never know. I may invite you to come and review it with me and get those requests in soon. Summer vacation for me is just around the corner. I will be traveling, but I won't be going away. But several episodes will be pre recorded. So if you want to be a part of it, you got to let me know now. Feel free to email me through my website. You can also find a direct way to contact me. If you like what you heard here, please subscribe to the channel, continue to spread the word, bring more people into the conversation. There's nothing better to do than chat movies. You can follow me, Cinephile Mike, on all social media platforms and on Letterboxd. Until next time, everyone, happy watching. This is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.